Would you like to reach our film and TV review podcast audience? Do you have a product or service of interest to film and TV home consumers or followers of the entertainment industry? Have a film or show production to publicize? For affordable price plans for all budgets, get in touch and find out about our introductory advertising options. Reach our audience of film and TV viewers and visit our site contact page at filmandtvreview.com, or you can email us at business@filmandtvreview.com. Reach out today.
Hello there, and welcome to a little mini edition of Film and TV Review. Um, we've just reviewing one of the, I think, first Marvel movies of 2025, kicking off its comeback, quotation marks. This is, of course, Captain America with Brave New World with Anthony Mackie in the lead role now as the new Captain America. It came out in the cinema just in the last week, so saw this to go with a regular co-host, Noel. Um, yeah, so of course, you're a Marvel fan as well, obviously. So this was, I guess, I'm not writing this, a big budget on this. Maybe because of some much rumored reshoots and so forth. Harrison Ford joins in the Marvel ranks. So this is yeah. So this is kind of almost like a captain. So he's taking up the mantle of Captain America after Chris Evans has left the role, and the character also. So Steve Rogers. So Noel, welcome. So.
Thank you.
How are you? Were you looking forward? Did you have any expectation on this whatsoever? Because it's been a bit of a while since really the last big hitter of a Marvel movie. So, what was your first impressions of it? Or let's go a bit about the plot first. So, what makes
Well, I mean, what I originally expected was more action than it had because Harrison Ford is no novice to action movies, and I
hmm
was hoping there'd be more of that. I didn't actually see the trailer, I just went in blindly.
Yeah.
But I still wanted more action and things like that. I mean, the plot, I guess is interesting, but then you look back at other Marvel movies and you think the plot's similar to those Marvel movies as well. It's like they've taken best of all the Marvel movies and tried to put them into their own movie. So, and I think the reshoots were quite obvious when someone says, "Oh, there were reshoots." It's kind of obvious. It's like everyone was filming in their own location, doing their own thing, and then it was all pieced together. So,
Yeah, I think it looks like it had aspirations to be that kind of like spy thriller, much like I think one of the more successful Captain America entries. You know, it was very much spy, government kind of like oversight and this kind of thing. So, I mean, they're big shoes to fill, quite honestly. And and so I mean, originally, the character was the Falcon, and then got, let's say, promoted or had the mantle of Captain America, which is a bit of a disservice to because he was quite an interesting character as Falcon in his own right. So,
mhm.
but then to take this mantle on, you can't help but draw comparisons, and so it almost seems almost weighted against him, like oh. So you're the Captain America, but it's I mean, how did you find him in the role? I mean, he's got his own vibe, as it were. He's not, he's and the famous trailer. Oh, you're no Captain America. So yeah, he's got his. Does he make a interesting lead in this? Do you think it's
I mean, I think the interesting thing is you have Falcon, who's been in Marvel since Phase 2. And then you have his own TV show, and now it's like, oh, we've started from scratch almost. I don't
Mm,
know why they didn't use more elements of the television show. I don't know if he made as big of an impact as he could have,
mm,
but I think that's kind of sad as a lead. I think the movie wanted to be nearly as safe as possible, So because of that, it's almost like we weren't allowed to have too much of an impact. And so his role was basically watered down, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, the plot is really picking up on, I guess, a thread from the Eternals, which was, I think, it concluded with one of the appearance of a Celestial, which is basically what this the galaxy Uber being, which is kind of born out, one of the oldest entities in the Marvel universe, and then kind of born out of the Earth. It's like the egg. The Earth turns out to be, it's just an egg, really, to be, and it's like mid manifestation, and then at the end of the Eternals they kind of stopped that happening, and then they but you see this huge landmass with which is basically a celestial huge head coming out of the ocean, which when they pull a map out it's basically almost like one-fourth of the Earth, and of course it's never addressed in any other Marvel stuff since then. It's like, oh yeah, that's there. Now they're kind of like, oh, let's tie that off, as in this huge, ecological change in our landscape. And okay, let's tie that off. Kind of like an embarrassed, you know, thread to kind of snip off almost. So I mean, so this erupts, and so everyone is scrambling for, rights to it. So you've got America and Japan of all places. I can't help but feel it should be another big player, and maybe not so Japan, little island Japan, but yeah, they're all under the resources of what is held in the Celestial, which is adamantium asterisks. I wonder what that could be hinting to. So yeah, it's trying to play this big political game, and then corruption and so forth. And it's like, nah. That's kind of the feeling I get. It's it's a hard one to review, this film, because
Hmm.
online it's like, it's the worst, for you clickbait titles. But I mean, people ask me what did I think of it, and it's kind of like it made me feel like this is a film that reminds me how films should be seen nowadays, and that's on a phone, because this is all really what it's come down to, kind of extended episodes, and this has not changed anything. So as a big comeback, it's kind of like as safe as possible, as you say, and so you should
Yeah.
watch it in the most safe, non-challenging environment as possible, and that's basically at home on your sofa or in bed.
It's funny what you say about episodes because I've been saying for the past like 5 years that the Marvel and Star Wars shows should have been movies instead of shows, and this one
Yeah.
feels like it should have been a show instead of a movie. So,
It's yeah, they have the opposite problems, it seems. And I think it's in because you've got so many entries and characters that come, it can't help but be episodic, and much even more, it's not now even more enroaching on that kind of comic book monthly issue kind of series ones. It's episodic, but that time of a grand spectacle. Oh, it's a big Marvel movie. It's lost unless it's something fresh and new. And yeah, I mean, the other element of this is obviously and then put this in the trailer. I mean, basically, it's almost impossible to spoil this movie because every whole plot, thread, and conclusion is in the trailer. It's actually it sums it up in about a 90-second trailer, and so you've got this appearance of obviously a Red Hulk. So I mean, were you you didn't see any trailer, I suppose, going in? Well, you must have seen some of it.
I knew Red Hulk was going to be in it.
Hmm.
I didn't know they spoiled him that severely. And then why would they have Red Hulk in it and not introduce other elements? As a hardcore She-Hulk fan, I've read all the comics and everything. I was thinking they would use this as an opportunity to bring back Bruce Banner and then to bring back Trish Walker from Jessica Jones because she's friends with She-Hulk and just kind of create a She-Hulk universe with, you know, Captain America too, just because I think it'd be interesting the whole thing. But and if you want the politics end of it, She-Hulk is a lawyer, and that kind of fits with the politics. But I guess they decided to do none of that and just wanted the Red Hulk and Liv Tyler, and that's it. So
Yeah, yeah. As in, I mean, if you're speaking cameos, definitely Liv Tyler kind of like surprisingly. I mean, it's great to see her. And this is harking back to when it was under like 20th Century Fox. It was originally what they did, the Incredible Hulk, and you had Ed Norton there, and she was playing the girlfriend to his portrayal of Bruce Banner or David Banner TV series. But it's so she appears and then you think, oh, she's gonna have a role, and then she doesn't. It's a bit odd. And yeah, so you think, oh, so then it's just going to be probably a big crash wallop kind of like punch up. That's what we're kind of like looks like from the trailer, and it doesn't really even pan out that way. It's just like 5 minutes of Harrison Ford losing his temper, basically. This is all it was.
Yeah.
I mean, and just is trashing the White House, but then it he gets calmed down and just spoken just to say, relax, and that's it. And I would say probably 4 to 5 minutes, and that's it. It's not like a big rampage. So that's why it feels, oh, okay, so what next? There must be a part two, or if this was,
No,
no.
the end credit scene was like nothing. A dud.
Yeah, we did say for the end credit just to say, well, maybe there's gonna be incredible opening the door of the next chapter. It's gonna be, who knows, Ed Norton walking in and from a multiverse of this banner. Sadly, no. It's it is more like, oh, and other things could happen, and that's it, basically. And it was the collective silence of a very eager audience when you're watching those on the seats when, it's not as if it's a bit of a lackluster movie, but then they come and see it, and then it's well, they got what we all got what we deserved waiting for those credits. Let's just say that, basically. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to even give an opinion because it's just such a neutral product,
Yeah.
which is what it is.
Feels like a Netflix action movie that has a, $10 million budget. So, except that was just Harrison Ford's paycheck.
That was well, look, he took the money and he won. And you thinking, Harrison, you don't need, surely you don't need this money. Why? But I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe he had a free afternoon or something. So I guess he did that. I'm guessing. Anyway, I'm not gonna. He's proven him, so he doesn't have to justify himself. It's fine. But I mean, yeah, I guess actually I was surprised how much there was Harrison Ford because he plays the well, Thunderbolt Ross originally, and then he's become now politically the president of the United States. Um, and so there's a lot of him, in this. Then I mean, they got their money's worth because he's in
Yeah.
there a lot, as in this whole kind of political cat and mouse game.
Yeah, I was glad there was a lot of Harrison Ford. We needed that.
I think it was a better movie because of it, and I'm glad. And like the Red Hulk was really much kept as an afterthought towards the end, which
Yeah.
was
If
which
only
is
they
a fair
didn't
play.
kill that.
He almost kind of like, yeah, you watch him as soon as he comes on the screen because he's suffering from because he's been secretly taking or being fed pills full of gamma rays. And I don't know even now I work in science, I just don't know how that would even work. But anyway, and and he's getting angrier and angrier as the political situation gets worse. And then but that's it. That's his story arc. And then he gets angry and then he says, "Oh, oh, I miss walking in the blossom fields with my daughter," and then he calms down. So that is it. It's so it does feel like a half episode, as you say.
Yeah.
It's an interesting film. Um, Now I guess it's marking that, where we are with Marvel, and they've got some other projects down the pike. You've got, Fantastic Four, I guess, so coming up. So it's an important signpost of films, or this one certainly, to see, hey, where are we at with Marvel? Is it something exciting? Is it something that's, new and bold? Uh,
I
what's your
think
opinion? Did you get, what's your kind of feeling now after seeing this and where we are with Marvel? Are you,
I just don't know what happened. I wish there was less mediocrity. I don't think all the movies have been mediocre. I think the Marvels was quite decent, but I'm excited for in early May the the new Avengers movie with all of them. Because that's May 2nd, right? The upcoming one,
May the 2nd
I
is
think is.
it's I think surely it's Fantastic Four next, isn't it? And then
Well, I mean, I would love for there to be hope, but why the reshoots? Are there reshoots because Marvel knows that there are trouble? You know, are there reshoots because of other issues?
well,
Or because I think with the reshoots thing, it's making me think, okay, they know they need to steer it around, so to speak. So,
well, you got the Thunderbolts, which is
yeah,
well, we were talking about cameos. We did have Stan in making an appearance in this movie along with Liv Tyler. So that was hinting at, this, which felt very TV episode, Then you got a cameo said, oh, by the way, my series is starting. So, but having seen the Thunderbolts trailer, that does actually get me a bit more
hyped.
interested and a bit hyped up than this. Ironically, because it seems so much more low key and a bit more grounded than because these are not hugely super powered. I mean, this group is like, the Suicide Squad, but without the powers almost. And it feels like, like a Dirty Dozen kind of vibe to
Yeah.
it. So it feels like, hey, that seems quite fun, but and you got some good actors there, obviously. So but I mean, then after that, it's Fantastic Four, and it's kind of like this better be that has to be phenomenal if you're going to get them back onto the board again, where people are like say, well, what's the difference between this and a TV show? Um, so I mean,
Well, that is the thing. A lot of these people in the Thunderbolts are going to be, characters from TV shows mostly. So then, are they going to make us have to watch all of these TV shows in order to understand the film? So,
well, this is why people don't get would unplug from it because then they don't. There's such a point where you get saturated. I said, well, I was going to watch this, but do I have to watch this and that to just to get, on board? And then you think, you know what, I just don't have the time, so I drop it. We just don't have time. You go to cinema for that one-off experience, it'd be fantastical, and then you spread by word of mouth and people see it, and that's it. Uh, it's almost like it's tripping up over itself still with the amount of like, oh, this character's from this and this character's from that, and that's their dude. But um, uh, anyway, but yes, so it's I don't know. So how excited are you for Fantastic Four then?
for Fantastic Four, I mean, third time's the charm with this one. I think The Incredibles will be the best Fantastic Four movie. But I'm excited for Thunderbolts, but I'd like to see the Marvel trajectory go in a new direction because since Endgame, it's really needed that. Of course, not all the movies have really been, let's just say for every up, there's two or three downs, and it shouldn't be like that. So,
Mm, yeah, it's I mean, I'd say the next thing would be kind of like yeah, the Avengers, this Doomsday, and Robert Downey Jr. returning, and it's like it almost needs the old team, the old cast, just to get people to recognize it as a Marvel's movie, which is a bit probably not ideal. I'm sure they wanted this where you could have 10 different franchises with good stars, all almost running in tandem or simultaneously, but I think you know, the fact they've had to bring him in as for the Avengers, this Doomsday, and it's kind of like very linked to, and I think Chris Evans will be returning as well. So
mm,
it's kind of like a bit odd, and it feels a bit like well, where you've got this Captain America and then the old guard are coming back, and it feels like well, it does smack of a bit of a desperation, really, where you just don't know where to roll the dice on this. If
yeah.
you're from the Marvel creative kind of like studio, you kind of a victim of your own success here when you've got so big and a lot was riding on those original stars, and then when they move on, where's your next big threat?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe there's hope. I mean, look, hint of obviously you've got with the Celestials, you had this great resource that were after was adamantium. So obviously it's hinting at, obviously you've got the X-Men coming up, and adamantium obviously it's a Wolverine's you know bones obviously, and they got that magical metal element. So it's they've got potential to have some exciting new first families in there to come and watch. So um I don't know, but maybe each time it's over. I mean, it would have to be one hell of an amazing movie just to get people back on board, even Marvel fans who have grown up and maybe aged out as well. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Right. Well, okay. Well, that was our quick wrap up of Captain America and Marvel, where we are now. And until next time, see you then.
Would you like to reach our film and TV review podcast audience? Do you have a product or service of interest to film and TV home consumers or followers of the entertainment industry? Have a film or show production to publicize? For affordable price plans for all budgets, get in touch and find out about our introductory advertising options. Reach our audience of film and TV viewers and visit our site contact page at filmandtvreview.com, or you can email us at business@filmandtvreview.com. Reach out today.